What's happening, Met fans? Oh, boy. You know, we
You're
have
evil,
a,
BT.
I'm trying to uplift Met fans right now. I really am. We've got a situation here that I am not envious of at all. I think it's the most hopeless emotion that a fan has to wrestle with during certain bouts of their fandom. Now, there's certain franchises, and really in this town, there's not many, sadly. The Yankees, even though they're playing well now, we don't even quite generate that inherent conviction that the Yankees will get it right just because they're the Yankees. The Giants used to be one of those teams, but that's obviously gone sideways. Hopefully Dable changes that. What I'm saying is this. There are certain teams that once things go sideways, and let's not mince words, they're going sideways for the Mets. I mean, the Mets right now look horrendous. They look dead. The stadium is lifeless. The offense is impotent. And the worst part about this, Teak, and this is where I really feel for the Met fan, I'm not even saying it's not going to get better, but until it gets better, the bottom line is there is not a damn thing that you can do to stop this malaise. You can yell, you can cheer, you can scream, you can curse, you can get your lucky bobblehead, your lucky Mets jersey, you can rub Gary Cohen's bobblehead and Keith and Mex and get off the train and hear them say, "Welcome to City Fair." It doesn't matter. And that, to me, is why Met fans right now have to feel borderline tormented.
They're not tormented in the way that I kind of remember and think about Mets fans being tormented. That's always the woe is me. The season is lost. Well, next season, wait till next season, or next season will be better. That's gone. I'm glad that that's gone for Mets fans. But there's a different kind of angst that has set in because the expectation has become different for this Mets team. And you're right. There was a lot of Mets fans that are going to be mad and pissed off because what they did or didn't do at the trade deadline, they didn't get the big bat that BT was talking about. They talked it up like Daniel Vogelback was going to be an important piece of this. He is. He was for a second.
He's going to be selling gyros soon. He'll be selling, chicken cutlet Parmesan heroes soon.
Darren Ruff was going to be the perfect compliment. And if that didn't work out, we're going to bring up the kids.
Perfect last name because he's been a dog so far
The kids are going to get it done for the Mets. And I think Mets fans talk themselves into it being good. When actuality, it was average. And that's what's coming back.
But the record wasn't average.
I'm not talking about that.
That's what was so conflicting about the 80% start to the season. They were so good.
No, I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about
right now.
Right now.
Gotcha.
When we knew that there needed to be some upgrades. Right? We knew that there needed to be another bat. And when we didn't get
not every Met fan knew that. A lot of people were getting annoyed with me for saying that every day, including Hoff, our producer. Well, we don't need a bat. Oh, we're fine. Oh, we're going to do it. You just scored 6 runs against 6 runs in 3 games against the Cubs, who have the 22nd best and really worst ERA in baseball. Yeah. I mean, everybody knew they needed a stick except our producer.
Even though they had two decent guys on the mound the last 2 nights, so he kind of got to understand. But I know it doesn't matter, but it does matter ultimately. My point is, the Met fan convinced themselves that they were okay with Vogelbach and then Ruff and then let's bring up Beatty, who got hurt, and then now Vientos. Like they convinced themselves they were okay, and now that they know that they're not okay, the emotion is what's getting frustrating.
Oh, it's changed, man. And listen, I still don't believe collapse is the right word because the Braves, by the way, I mean, if the Mets were really collapsing, the Braves would be in first place by 3.5 games. But the Braves have not seized this opportunity, which is why the penultimate series to the season is going to probably determine this division. But I mean, you can't run from this. The Mets just look wretched, man. I mean, if you just parachuted into the season right now and you didn't see the first part, and I know they miss Marte. He's a big piece of what they do. And I believe when he comes back, things are going to get, incredibly better immediately, but they will look different and they will be different and they will be better. But they've lost 7 of 11. They've lost 3 straight. The bats have holes in them. Nobody's hitting it all. And, you're starting to lose to really bad teams, which is really disconcerting. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is, it takes one game to galvanize not only a team, but a fan base. But I mean, these final 18 games, I don't say this really tongue-in-cheek. I actually feel for the Met fan because as a Jet fan, I get it. I get the emotion. I get getting kicked in the teeth. And I'm not saying that that's the final result this season. But what's my saying, Teak? It doesn't change.
Until it changes.
Until it changes. So we can sit here and say, and many of these things apply for sure. Cohen's got a different vibe. It's not the Wilpons. Buck is better than every skipper since Bobby V and probably better than Bobby. I mean, they've got a lot of things. Pitching is terrific. Scherzer's going to come back. DeGrom is the man, blah, blah, blah. Alonso, maybe he gets loose. He cranked the meaningless home run, but still hit a home run. Maybe that gets him rolling with the home run. There's so many things here that you look at the Mets and you do like, but you cannot, and this is torturous as a fan, you cannot separate yourself from all the failures. You don't have to talk about it, and I don't even think it's applicable. You don't have to go back to that final game back in 2007 when Dontrell Willis hit a triple down the line against Tom Glavine at Shea, and the Mets hemorrhaged and collapsed in 2008, or 87 when they were supposed to be great after 86 and they weren't, or 88 when they choked one away against a Dodgers team that they should have rocked in the playoffs. I mean, you don't have to verbalize that, and you shouldn't. It's a different team. It's different ownership. It's different circumstances. But somewhere in your body, somewhere pulsating through your veins, somewhere like intertwined in the blood flow of your body, as a Mets fan, like Jets fans, and like Knicks fans, and all the other bad teams in the city, you cannot fully separate yourself from your past. You can try to obscure it. You could try to bury it. You could try to hide it. You could try to talk around it. You could try to talk over it. But until they push through, that lingers, and that sucks.
Until it changes, it doesn't change.
Correct,
right? Type of thing, BT. But I think I would give the Met fan a little bit of leeway to have some doubts, but then ultimately realize, because of where they are right now, 89 and 55, they're still on top of the division with 18 games to go. They're still in a prime position to do whatever it is they expected they were going to do this year. They're going to get Starling Marte back. Francisco Lindor hopefully gets into the positive side of his streakiness, because he's currently on the negative side again. Pete Alonso rises to the occasion. Max Scherzer, who looked good in his outing yesterday, comes back and he's Max Scherzer. Jacob deGrom, who had another outing of 3 runs or less. I think he set a Major League Baseball record with that. He tied a Major League Baseball record. Thank you, Hoff.
Yeah, he almost broke it the other night.
That's right. So
they bunted him to death. Exactly. Not even his fault, the poor guy.
But so I think the Met fan knows that in the back of their mind that history is right there, but this is new. This is different. And there's this internal battle happening with Mets fans. Like, I don't want to go back to that old way of thinking.
I hear you.
I don't believe it anymore. We have a new owner. We have a new skip. We have the talent. We have a really good.
We got the teamwork to make the dream work.
A really good, if not great, rotation, especially with the top 2. Bassett had an off day. You give it to him. David Peterson, who's been fantastic in every role that they've thrown him in this year, has had a bad day. But I think the Met fan has turned resilient and is not hearkening back to history like we've seen so many years in the past.
Again, it's not going to be verbalized. I agree with that. It's not going to be overtly stated. I don't know the tone to the calls. We're going to get these calls, obviously. 877-337-6666. Maybe there's a newfound confidence / arrogance and resilience that Met fans have embraced and adopted because of ownership and the spark they've seen this year. And it's more like, hey, we're going to get this done. We're good. It's a rough patch. I know we're not playing well, but we'll do this, and this, and we'll be good to go. And that will be refreshing. And on some level, I kind of expect to hear that, but that's not my point. What I said was, again, it might not be overt, but somewhere in the deepest recesses of your mind, okay, you cannot run from your tortured past. Just like I cannot run from my tortured past as a Jet fan. If the Jets are winning 21-7 going into the fourth quarter Sunday, I'm still terrified. But you know what? If I'm a fan I know the Packers played terribly week 1, maybe not the best example, but if you're a Packers fan, you're sitting there watching Aaron Rodgers, he's up 21-7 in the fourth quarter, you're like, let's go.
Yeah, we're
going to win by 30.
We're good.
It's over.
One more mistake and this thing is a blowout.
It's just, it is. And the other thing that worries me, right? Now, we've just run through a bunch of bullet points here. But I feel as if, and I'm not saying that it doesn't apply at all, but I feel like I'm hearing a lot of, and you just said it, Teak, and you're not wrong, but hear me out. Well, they still lead the Braves. There's only 18 games to go. The schedule's fairly easy, though we thought that they were supposed to beat the Cubbies and the Nats as well, but whatever. Right. Schedule's pretty, like, I'm hearing things, I'm hearing reasons why the Mets will be okay, but none of those things are directly attributable to their skill set. I'm hearing the schedule, the Braves aren't playing well. Yeah. That is less than 20 games.
Things outside
we'll
of
be all right.
Things that are outside of their actual control.
Yeah, I'm not hearing, Alonso's going to hit, and he might, but I'm not hearing Alonso's going to hit 390 the final 18 games with 7 bombs and pull an Aaron Judge. And I'm not hearing that. Now, maybe we'll hear that with the calls, but I'm hearing a lot of talking around why the Mets will be okay.
Well, I mean, don't you have...
And that should worry you a little bit.
Well, it does.
Because the tangible stuff has just not been there for a while.
You kind of have to do that, though.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because of what's happening with the position players and the pitchers. Not obviously DeGrom, who's been great every time he's taken the mound, but, I mean, nobody expected Chris Bassett to have that kind of outing. David Peterson they batted around in the first inning last night. They batted around.
They didn't even know if Peterson was going to start the game. There was some internal, not conflict, but some internal debate within the organization.
That's right.
And, evidently it didn't work out the way they wanted to. Which, but the play sounds dead. It sounds dead.
Well, I think that's where the Met fan needs to evolve into a lifter for a team, as opposed to let me accept what's going to happen and then the requisite boos come.
Met fans aren't accepting anything. Met fans are going to go down. If they go down, Met fans are going down throwing haymakers. We have our fun and our battles. I know how Met fans are wired. They are not meekly going into that good night. Met fans are ready to fight, which is awesome. You just have to, and I think the Mets team is willing to fight. You just have to hope they have enough talent.
Yeah.
And I know offensive talent. I know that sounds crazy when you hear you're knocking on the next one. They win tonight, they get 90 wins. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're 89 wins, and it's not even, what's today's date? I'm terrible with dates. It doesn't even matter. The 15th. So basically the middle of the month with half of the season, of 18 to go, they've almost got 90 wins.
Yeah.
Been a terrific season. But the fear and the angst has to be real no matter where you decide to bury it. That's how I see it. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney here on The Fan. Inside of our Town Fair Tire studio, our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tires. Nobody. So, 4 at the Pirates at City, 3 at Milwaukee, 3 at the A's, 2 with Miami, here in Queens, 3 in Atlanta, 3 with the Nats. It is go time, but right now, they're nowhere near getting off the tarmac. I mean, right now, the Mets have stalled, and they need a spark. And before I get to these calls, Hoff, who is our resident Met enthusiast, how you feeling there, buddy?
I'm fine, thanks, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. That's good.
How are you really doing?
Yeah. Stop with the act, dude. It's getting old.
Great. No,
it's getting old.
No.
It's getting old.
You're staying calm.
Quit the charades, dude. It's getting old.
There was a stat that came out yesterday since 1969 or 68 or whatever it is. The last time. There's never been a team that had so many wins and been swept by a team under 20 games. Hey. The last team to do it, though, 1968, Detroit Tigers. Guess what?
Oh, that was the Mickey Loesch, Bob Gibson World Series. Great World Series. One of the best World Series of all time.
I'll take it.
All right, so you're making history, the bad part. Now you're hoping that you can replicate the good part on the back end. Okay, I got you.
I understand why.
We're reaching for that, huh? Reaching for the 68 Tigers and really?
Listen,
that's where we're going?
Listen, I'll take whatever I can get.
I got you. Now, can you name 3 Tigers on that team? I just gave you one. Mickey Loesch.
Al Kaline.
Attaboy.
And that's all I got right now. I'm not good with history.
Willie Horton? Dove, you should know the name Willie Horton, right? He just shook his head no, and then he shook his head yes. I don't know what that means.
That was a confusing gesture.
So you do or you do not?
I know the name.
Gotcha.
I would not have given you the name.
I got you. All right, so there it is. So he remains. Listen, I know my producer. He's putting up the good fight. He's a little nervous inside. And you know what? You have to be. Just like I was nervous with the Yankees. And I still don't think the Yankees are winning the World Series. And by the way, there is a little parallel here when I talk about the lifeless nature at City. That's not a knock on the Met fans. Number one, when you don't score, there's nothing to cheer about.
That's right.
Let's get it straight. Number two, kids are back in school. Understood. So there's reasons for that. You're not going to have 35, 40,000 people on a Tuesday or a Wednesday against the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Chicago Cubs. But I'll tell you this, and we were at the Judge's Chamber about 3 weeks ago when the Yankees were playing wretched baseball, and it felt like a funeral, and it has flipped. So there is hope. You just have to hope that the Mets can find it. All right, let's get, I'm going to go positive out of the chute. Dave's in Lincoln Park says the Mets are good to go. What's up, Dave? How are you?
Hey, hi, Brandon. How are you?
Hey, Dave. What's happening, buddy?
I've been listening to you for a long time. I like to see that you're a Met psychiatrist. All right? I'm very impressed by it.
Listen,
you try to get into their heads. I understand that. All right, but
I would just try to help out the Met fan. Trying to help out the Met fan. That's all.
I own 2 sports bars for 22 years.
Oh, nice.
I've been to 1986 World Series, Game 6 and 7. One of my customers brought me. His father had one of the 2 ambulance companies that came out of Shea.
Okay.
7 rows behind home plate for free.
Wow.
For free.
Wow.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So I won those 2 World Series games. Then I was at the Todd Pratt home run against the Diamondbacks.
Diamondback, sure. Dead center. Yep.
Yeah, I was at that game, and I was at Mike Hampton closing out against the Cardinals before they lost to your Yankees.
Okay, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I'm 4-0 there.
All right.
I'm 2-0 at Yankees.
Well, then get your ass to the stadium, Dave.
I know.
Get out of the bar and get out of
Cohen,
Lincoln Park and get to City Field, man. They need you.
I'm a limo driver. I drive a lot. I need Steve Cohen to get me a limo and bring me there.
Oh, nice.
Cohen, get on it.
But anyway, back to the Mets. Guillorme just came back, so you got your super sub back. Marte, like you said, they're missing Marte a lot.
Yes.
Okay. Now the only thing they haven't done that was the first sweep for the Mets all year. That's the first sweep the whole season for the Mets that they got swept. All right. That's an amazing feat for a team. So yeah. Are they in a rut right now? Yes, they are. All right, but I think you remember one thing also you guys haven't brought up.
What?
The Mets are 39-30 against teams over 500. The Braves are 29-33, or right around there. I might be a game or 2 off.
Yeah.
And they play the Phillies 7 times in the next 10 days.
And the Phillies obviously are dangerous. We don't listen.
Dangerous, and they're going to want to be a spoiler. Absolutely.
Well, the Phillies are a playoff team.
I understand that, but they specifically would want to spoil the Braves.
Oh,
I hear you. So yeah, you're right about that. By the way, this is the first 3-game series sweep against the Mets. They have been swept in 2-game series.
By whom?
By the Yankees and by the Astros. Yes, exactly.
That's right. Oh, those Astros games were ugly.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so the Astros own the Yanks and the Mets, so there's nothing surprising there. I don't know. I like the call. I like the tone. I like the call. I like Cohen, Mr. Cohen, Stevie, Uncle Stevie. Send the limo to Lincoln Park. Get him in the house. You need him. I want him behind the dish. All 4 games at Citi Field against the Pirates. I want him there. That's Dave in Lincoln Park. That's a great start to the show. I do not think that will be the representation of most Met fans today. And if it is, great. Maybe I'm misreading things, or maybe you think I take pleasure in this, and you don't want to give me the satisfaction, which I take none in. I mean, I remember saying back in May, and everybody thought I was nuts, and it's not going to happen, I don't think. I mean, I don't think the Yanks are getting there, and I don't think the Mets are getting there, but I remember starting chirping about the Subway Series back in May. I would love to see it. Here's the problem, though. Even if you get things going, and even if you find a way to stabilize it against the Pirates, right, do you really, I mean, the way the offense, you know what? I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even going to get into can you beat the Dodgers. Let's just get out of this funk before you worry about the best team in baseball.